Coming up on 5 Minute News. FDA endorses Moderna's lower-dose COVID booster. Chief pilot involved in Boeing 737 MAX testing indicted in Texas. And January 6 panel to vote on contempt of Steve Bannon. It's Friday, October 15. I'm Anthony Davis. US health advisors said on Thursday that some Americans who received Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine at least 6 months ago should get a half-dose booster to rev up protection against the coronavirus. The panel of outside advisors to the Food and Drug Administration voted unanimously to recommend a booster shot for seniors as well as younger adults with other health problems, jobs, or living situations that put them at increased risk from COVID-19. The recommendation is non-binding, but it's a key step toward expanding the US booster campaign to millions more Americans. Many people who got their initial Pfizer shots at least 6 months ago are already getting a booster after the FDA authorized their use last month, and those are the same high-risk groups that FDA's advisors said should get a Moderna booster. But there's no evidence that it's time to open booster doses of either the Moderna or Pfizer vaccine to everybody, the panel stressed, despite initial Biden administration plans to eventually do that. The coronavirus still is mostly a threat to unvaccinated people, while the vaccinated have strong protection against severe illness or death from COVID-19. A former Boeing pilot was indicted on Thursday by a federal grand jury on charges of deceiving safety regulators about the 737 MAX jetliner, which was later involved in 2 deadly crashes. The indictment charges Mark A. Faulkner with giving the Federal Aviation Administration false and incomplete information about an automated flight control system that played a role in the crashes, which killed 346 people. Prosecutors said that because of Faulkner's alleged deception, the system was not mentioned in pilot manuals or training materials. 49-year-old Faulkner was charged with 2 counts of fraud involving aircraft parts in interstate commerce and 4 counts of wire fraud. Federal prosecutors said he's expected to make his first appearance in court on Friday in Fort Worth, Texas. If convicted on all counts, he could face a sentence of up to 100 years in prison. The indictment charges that he hid information about a flight control system that activated erroneously and pushed down the noses of the Boeing 737 MAX jets that crashed in 2018 in Indonesia and 2019 in Ethiopia. The pilots tried unsuccessfully to regain control, but both planes went into nosedives minutes after taking off. Prosecutors suggested that Faulkner downplayed the power of the system to avoid a requirement that pilots undergo extensive and expensive retraining, which would increase training costs for airlines. Congressional investigators suggested additional training would have added $1 million to the price of each plane. A congressional committee investigating the January 6 Capitol insurrection moved aggressively against close Donald Trump advisor Steve Bannon on Thursday, swiftly scheduling a vote to recommend criminal contempt charges against the former White House aide after he defied a subpoena. The chairman of the special committee, Representative Benny Thompson, said the panel will vote on Tuesday to recommend charges against Bannon, an advisor to Donald Trump for years, who was in touch with the president ahead of the most serious assault on Congress in 2 centuries, and even appeared to have knowledge of it 24 hours earlier on a podcast. The Select Committee will not tolerate defiance of our subpoenas, Thompson said in a statement. Bannon, he said, is hiding behind the former president's insufficient, blanket, and vague statements regarding privileges he has purported to invoke. We reject his position entirely. If approved by the Democratic Majority Committee, the recommendation of criminal charges would go to the full House. Approval there would send them to the Justice Department, which has final say on prosecution. The showdown with Bannon is just one facet of a broad and escalating congressional inquiry, with 19 subpoenas issued so far and thousands of pages of documents flowing to the committee and its staff. Challenging Bannon's defiance is a crucial step for the panel, whose members are vowing to restore the force of congressional subpoenas after they were routinely flouted during Trump's time in office. You can subscribe to 5 Minute News on YouTube with your preferred podcast app. Ask your smart speaker or enable 5 Minute News as your Amazon Alexa flash briefing skill. Subscribe, rate and review online at 5minute.news. 5 Minute News is an Evergreen Podcast covering politics, inequality, health and climate, delivering independent, unbiased and essential world news daily.